Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay, or good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We had planned this one early UK time to cater for some Australian customers, and well, for anywhere else in the world. Anyone, if it is too late and you aren't able to stay, don't worry, we are going to be doing more different, varying times, should I say, going forward. But good morning, everyone. I'm going to let people get in, and then we can start asking questions by all means. We are ready to go whenever. And today is just going to be entirely open Q&A. We have about an hour. I'll be doing any kind, potentially tutorials as well, if appropriate for the questions that are asked. I've got the Bookvault portal up here and ready, so I'll be able to go through any guides for potential questions as well. So if you've got anything, by all means, start firing away in the chat. I can bring your questions up here and I'll answer them as and when they come through. Okay. So we've got some people from Sweden and Japan. Very nice. Yes, by all means, Kitty, fire away whenever you are ready. No problem at all. And just to note, we did send out an email, but I won't be able to discuss any specific ticket questions or issues or order specifics. They are best dealt with via a support ticket or booking in a virtual meeting with one member of the team rather than the open Q&A. But anything to do with Bookvault, getting started, distribution, anything you can think of, that's what we're here for. So, Jack, you got the first one. I'll bring you one up here. So, is it possible to have two versions of the paperback? So bespoke edition giveaways, but not serious sale. 100%. So the way you could do it is you would need two different ISBN numbers, or an ISBN number for the standard version that you would distribute worldwide, and then what we call a dummy ISBN, which we can allocate for you on Bookvault for your bespoke special edition that you can sell either directly for your own store or through a Kickstarter giveaway, etc. But 100% that is possible through the system itself. It would just be, I'll give you a quick overview. It is just very simple. You just go through, add your title. So say this is your bespoke edition, your special one. You just go through, select your relevant option, should I say. Go through, select, say if you want your foiling or you want your sprayed edges on a custom color, solid color or custom design, bespoke special edition. And then you would select no on the ISBN. This isn't free. It should say £16.64. And then you would just add the title to the platform. That would link it to Bookvault. You can then link it, as I say, directly through an e-commerce platform, or place bulk orders yourself if you have an event or signings or anything like that. Kitty, I'll pick you one up here. So the way that works is very simple. So the payments on your WooCommerce site, that goes straight to you. We don't touch any of that money. That's yours. And then when the orders come through to Bookvault, you can either top up funds at a regular interval for GBP, US dollars and Australian dollars. Alternatively, you can store a card. It can be the same card against all of those currencies, and we would automatically charge you the production costs as and when those orders come through to Bookvault. It's all very simple, all self-manageable. Once it's all set up, you don't really need to do anything other than watch the orders come through, really. And again, I will just give an example of that. So when you've you've linked your WooCommerce store to Bookvault, you can either add funds or you can add a payment method to any of these sections here. And then as and when orders come through, they would populate here. They would appear. Well, sorry, they wouldn't appear as a draft order. If you've got a card stored, they would just go straight into production. Very simple. Rebecca, I'll pick you one up. In regards to the sprayed edges come out faded. So this is potentially down to the paper you've got. So what we've seen is potentially some of the coated paper it doesn't hold the colour as well with the sprayed edges. We would potentially recommend just making the colour itself brighter on the actual file. Alternatively, if you can do that and then send that through to us, we can by all means get a sample printed, see how it comes out, see how you feel, and then we can kind of progress from there. Difficult to comment an awful lot, as I'd need to go back with production and confirm that. Self-published gardeners. Rich, I'll pick you one up here. So This is it's a bit of a difficult one, so we don't offer too much advice in terms of sales and marketing, etc. The whole point of Bookvault is it's a self-manageable platform for you guys to be able to use, and you don't really need to speak to a person. But obviously, we are here to help where we can. So, in terms of gardeners, in our experience, gardeners tend to base a lot of their information off of the sales data for your titles. The best thing that we recommend is if you're publishing or printing through us, when you go to Nielsen, make sure Nielsen know that we are the distributor. There's a section on there where you can input Bookvault. As long as Nielsen have that information, gardeners will know that your book can be ordered through us. They will then come to us if there is an order, and we would ship that to them directly. You'll receive your royalties the following month. Bill, I'll pick you one up here. This is just, honestly, it's just in regards to the partner requirements that they have. Unfortunately, we are in the process of hopefully getting a new print partner on board within America that will open up a few more options with less restrictions as such. But it is just kind of the print partners, standards as such, unfortunately. I'll pick this one up in regards to PayHip. So the correct process for adding the title, it is similar to the rest of the e-commerce platforms. You would head over to our apps page. You would already have linked the PayHip store here. You'll have your list of titles come up here. There is a little link button. You would then input the pricing details, and then the system would push that to the PayHip store. There isn't really anything else that would look different as such on this page, other than it would just have the list of titles and the pricing that you're selling them for in the store itself. And similar to Shopify orders, as and when they come through, they would just appear on your order page. If you've got cards or funds stored, they would just go straight into production. If not, they'll sit in this draft status until you hit the Pay Now button. Michael, I'll pick you one up here. Is it possible to wait for my review before? So I just want to make sure I'm understanding that correctly. To wait for your review. Oh, right. Okay. Sorry, I see what you mean. So that is possible. If you let us know beforehand, just give us any of the order details or the ISBN specifics, we can look to leave a note and hold that, and then get images or whichever over to you for review. Again, that would just be opening a support ticket. By means, address it to myself, being Aaron. If anyone from these live streams wants to get in touch with myself directly, by all means. And yeah, we would be able to again kind of process from there and get in touch once the order has been printed. Kitty, I'll pick your follow-up one here. So yes, that is correct. Sorry, just make sure I read it properly. So yes, if you have, so say if a UK order came through, but you've only got a US dollar card stored, the order would, as you can see on the screen, it would just sit in a draft status until you were to either hit the Pay Now button, which would take you through to a card checkout, or if you had funds, you can click the Use Funds button. But yes, we would recommend having a card stored for each currency because it just prevents any delays with orders being processed. Bill, I'll pick you one up here. So in regards to the distribution, yeah, I can definitely cover a bit more in regards to the distribution. So I assume you're referring more to the retail Amazon side of things. So once you've got titles set up in Bookvault, there is a distribution section here. Now, just to know, any bespoke or special editions we do not distribute to retailers. They are primarily for print on demand, selling directly, or ordering in bulk for events, Kickstarters, etc. But you have a distribution page where you can go in and set up the distribution information. So we have our own store called the Great British Bookshop. You can toggle to sell on there. And then we have a global network, which will include the likes of Gardeners, Amazon.com, Amazon UK, as well as several different EU stores as well. So once you've hit those toggles, you'll be able to set up the specific pricing for your regions. And then you'd add the rest of the relevant information. So the author name, keywords for your search terms, your FEMA codes, and just your content, so the description or short description if we're uploading the information to Nielsen for you. And that information would then just be sent through to to Amazon, to Gardeners, to the Great British Bookshop. And as and when orders come through from Amazon or from Gardeners, we would just print them, send them directly to the customers. There's no input that you would need or have on those retail orders. We handle all of that for you, and we would just process your payments the following month. There we go. So, Bill, if there's anything, just touch on that again, Bill. If there's anything in specific in regards to the status of titles, by means, if you mentioned the actual status you're referring to, I might be able to expand a bit further on that. Cosmic Roots and Eldritch, I'll pick your one up here. So, unfortunately, at the moment, anything bespoke is going to stick to a UK production only. It's not something that we can enforce on our print partners, and it's not something they have the machinery for, unfortunately. So at the moment, it is going to be a UK only production thing. Rich, I'll pick you one up here. So the payment percentage, you dictate that. So I'm still on the wholesale page here. So you would dictate the available discount that we send through to the retailers. So you can have as low as 20% or as high as, I believe it would go up to 60. Yeah, as high as 60% there for you. So that's entirely up to you. And there is a profit calculator that, sorry, excuse me, will allow you to figure out how much you would work or how much you would get, after print costs are factored in as well. Okay. Unfortunately, in terms of tarot card sizes, I don't think so, or not at the moment at least. We're always obviously looking for more options for us to be able to produce, but at the moment the focus is on our box sets and getting the box sets procedure well oiled, so to speak. Sorry, just getting the next question. Philippa, I have seen your comment. Unfortunately, I can't comment too much on specific tickets, as that would require a lot of digging into on the live. But I will make note and I will follow that up after the live stream and see if I can get a response to you. Bill, just to pick your one up here. So, yes, the distribution is all manageable through Bookvault. To clarify, again, we have access to the likes of Gardeners, to Amazon, UK, Europe, and .com. We're close to launching Australia and Canada, I believe, as well. And then we work with a partner called UK Paperback Shop, who are another seller through Amazon. But all the distribution information is accessible through Bookvault, and any retail orders you will be able to access through a reporting page. So any sales you make, they will all come up here. You'll be able to see where you're making the sales in specific locations, as well as through which partner, whether it be Gardeners, Amazon, UK Paperback Shop, etc. Jack, I'll pick you one up here. So how does payment work? So it's very simple. You don't pay, so you won't pay anything for the Amazon orders. They are all, so people go onto our Amazon or onto the Amazon site, they'd find our listing, they'd make that order, and then we process payouts on the following month, normally around the 14th. And again, on this reporting page, you'll be able, once the sales start rolling in, you'll be able to get an idea of the profit you're making per book, and you'll be able to keep track of that all through this reporting page. Okay, I'll pick you one up here. So, unfortunately, that is a restriction on the system at the moment. So, with the global distribution, it automatically includes Amazon. However, that's not to say we can't remove our listing if you didn't want us to be selling it on Amazon as well. But on the flip side of that, we can also sell the book on Amazon for you just as another seller anyway. But yeah, so if you wanted to sell through the global distribution but not Amazon, all you'd need to do is set the information up, send us a support ticket with the ISBN. We'll go onto Amazon and make sure the listing itself doesn't go live. And I'll pick you up here. So with the Great British Bookshop, that information, it's not visible to authors on the platform, unfortunately, no. Just down to GDPR regulations, it's not something that's available. The only information that you'll see from orders from retailers is the kind of profit that you're making and the ISBNs that you've sold. Michael, yes, that is possible. So we can, when we set up an Amazon listing, we can specifically choose the countries or the regions that we list it in. So we can list it everywhere but Amazon US. Again, you just need to let us know the ISBN so we can go in and manually make that change in the back-end system. Lou, I'll pick you one up here. So yes, basically, if you've got us noted as the distributor on Nielsen, and then gardeners should be able to see that, and then retailers in turn or bookshops in turn can then order through gardeners. Or if those retailers have an account with a site called PubEasy, that's where gardeners place their orders. They can order directly through there from us. So it all depends on whether you've got Bookvault noted as the distributor within Nielsen itself. Ed, I'll pick you one up here. I mean, honestly, don't get me wrong, we'd love everyone to use us. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, you've got to use all the options that are at your that are available to you, haven't you? So it's not really something that I have an opinion on as such. Yeah, you've just got to do what's best for you, and if you've got to use several people, it just means you've got more avenues, I guess, to print your books. Matthew, I'll pick you one up here. So for the most part, they are available primarily in the UK. But if when you go through the adding a title option, you can fiddle around with the custom sizing, and you'll see the kind of flag options change as to what will be available where. So I would just recommend going through that in itself. That's okay. So yeah, any further questions by me is far away. I think I'm losing some of. I think I've run out now. Just making sure I didn't miss anyone. Bear with me. No, okay, there we go. Fun. So, so I will just link back to the reporting page again. So, this down here, if you have several titles that you have on the platform, it will break down the specific title sales and how much you're making on profit from each book. This is if you're just getting started out and you're unsure on how much wholesale percentage, then that is a good thing to keep an eye on and see how much profit you're making per book. And to touch on that as well, you can make any changes to any of the information on Bookvault as often and as frequently as you want. There's no changes, there's no fees for any changes, should I say. So say if you wanted to change your book, like the sizing of it, the files, update the imagery, and that's all free to do on the portal itself. Sorry, just picking up Jack, so I can see you on there. Yes, that would be considered the full colour page. Anything that's not just kind of standard white, because we'd have to print the black on the white text. Oh, sorry, black ink on the white paper, should I say? Michael, I'll pick you one up here. So that's entirely up to you. We gardeners normally we recommend not trying to go as low as you can on the percentage. So we'd recommend starting normally around 30%, just to try and get the book listed there. But honestly, it's entirely up to you. It's not something we advise an awful lot on, because it's down to you guys. You can see how much profit you'll make per book and kind of base it on there. But 30 is normally a good starting point for that. Ed, I will pick you one up here because I can see your point. It's completely fair. So that is one of the reasons these live streams are a thing, so we can answer questions in real time, like this. But don't worry, I completely understand where you're coming from. We're hoping to either make these maybe a bit more frequent or a bit longer, depending on the demand. And obviously, as I say, yeah, we can answer questions live and in real time there. Check out their cover designs. I've got two examples with me that I quite like. I will show these off quickly. These are just part of our samples. And if I move that quickly, just so you can see a bit clearer. So this is by Amy Campbell, Dragon Meridians. This is silver foiling, hardback, end papers, and sprayed edges. You can see very nice design on there. So that is one of the nice ones that we've got. Kind of dragon scale end pages as well. And we've got another one by Darren Nazarian. So this is a foiled dust jacket and a foiled hardcover case. And again, end papers and sprayed edges. And these will be available directly from the authors themselves, unfortunately not ones that we sell directly through our store. Bill, I'll pick you one up here. So the simple question, let me switch that back over so it's not just entirely my face. There we go. So the simple answer, honestly, is Amazon tend to be relatively funny. with some of the error messages they give when we try and list things. So if there are specific ISBNs that you're struggling with, if you haven't already, by means get a support ticket opened with us. That's something we can look into, whether we need to add the title manually to the platform or open a case with Amazon support and see what the issues are. It's hard to say without directly looking into the specific ISBN that it's related to. Kitty, I'll pick you one up here. So off the top of my head, I don't think there are any direct like tutorials within or from YouTubers themselves. I know we do have some on our knowledge base as mentioned, but we do need to update a few of them and get some new ones out. So unfortunately, I don't have any specific ones that I could recommend, but we are hoping to get some more tutorials done off the back of these live streams as well, which will then be posted live everywhere else. Alan, I'll pick you one up here. So, it depends on what the trouble was. If I'll be honest, so we don't have any. Well, we don't do any file work in house. That's not something that we have done for a while, and we can by means check files over. So if you want to send them over to us and just ask if they're print ready, if they're suitable for your specific sizing and things like that, 100% something we can do. I would potentially, I don't know if you have already, but would potentially recommend opening up a support ticket for that one and then kind of going from there. And we can then look into it, see if there's anything on the file side or if there's anything on the server side that's preventing it from uploading. Michael, I'll pick you one up. I'll be honest. Again, this is the reason we're not delving into specific ticket issues because without looking into the entire email thread, I couldn't say for sure if I'm honest. It's not a case that we're struggling. No, we did have a UK bank holiday and we had a UK bank holiday and some just absences, events, etc., which meant things did get a bit backed up. But no, we are on top of it as such. And again, another reason for these live streams is to hopefully answer questions that would then prevent them coming across in tickets. Jack, I'll pick you one up here. So once files are uploaded, is there options for proof copies? So within Bookvault, there isn't a direct proof copy option in that sense. But you would, once files are uploaded, you can just place a manual order for a single copy and just proceed to checkout. And that would then class as your proof copy as such. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pick up some of the questions that some of the survey questions that we didn't get answered last week, just while we wait for some to come through. Sorry, that's just loading up. So, Philip, the main contact form is the emails. I can understand that sometimes the responses are delayed. I can only apologise for that. The booking appointments, they don't normally take weeks. You can normally book them within at least 12 hours of them being available. They are blocked out at the moment for the remainder of this week. The virtual appointments are normally always available within 12 hours as such. Ed, so we didn't have a stand. There wasn't a particular reason other than the fact that most of the self-publishing people or companies had just been pushed all the way to the back. So we were there in person. I was there myself as well as a couple of other people from the company. We were just kind of milling around, speaking to people, networking, etc. Just to touch on that, we will be at the self-publishing show in June as well. Jack, I'll pick you one up here. So it depends on if you're looking at a bespoke or a standard book. So standard production time from the UK facility is around 5 working days. If we're shipping to the UK, we can do that next day. Alternatively, obviously, we can ship rest of the world. You've got FedEx options, which will get it there within a few days. Alternatively, we've got delivery group tracked, which will normally take up to 7 working days. And if it's bespoke book, they are currently on a 15 working day production time. And again, shipping would be the same depending on if it's going to the UK, US, or anywhere else in the world. Kitty, yes. So basically, if you don't fill in this distribution information or link your title to your direct selling store, then there won't be anywhere for people to order the book from. So you can place orders directly through Bookvault itself, just by simply going to the place an order page when it loads. There we go. So yeah, you can just place orders manually through here, and the title itself, it won't be distributed anywhere, and it won't be set up through the direct selling store unless you were to do that yourself through this page and the apps section on Bookvault. Live chat is something we are in discussions to potentially bring back online. That is something that we will obviously give more information as and when we are able to. Again, it's something as a company we are looking to just improve in general in terms of the customer service. What's the word? In terms of how quickly you can get the responses. So that is something we are looking into. Unfortunately, I can't say when that's going to be though. Mark, I'll grab you on here. So for the bespoke options, we are aiming to get the production time reduced in the near future. I can't quite say exactly when that will be because it does depend on production themselves and the kind of workload volumes that they have. But the aim is to get that reduced in the very near future to hopefully 10 at most. But obviously, as and when that happens, we'll be able to update people. Mark, I'll grab you one here. So in regards to the Wix integration, at the moment, there is no dispatch email from the integration itself when orders are sent out from us. That is something we're working on as an improvement for the integration. But unfortunately, at the moment, it's not part of it. It's not something that it will do. You can, of course, track the orders and when they're dispatched on Bookvault, but I appreciate that's a lot more work for you to then have to follow up and send another tracking link to the customer. But that's something on the roadmap for us to introduce within the integration itself. Kitty, we don't have any videos or anything directly towards Kickstarter. We've got on the Help Centre, there is a bit of information, but that's primarily related to uploading the the bulk upload form. So it might be worth checking out if you think that would be helpful, just so you've got that knowledge. But there's no, unfortunately, there's no direct information for that. Okay, so I'm just picking up some other questions. And just sorry, I've just got a bit of information from part of our marketing team. So just to touch on the LBF, so we are planning to do next year with a stand. The plan for us is to do it every other year with a stand because it seems to be becoming less indie focused, which is obviously where we are. So Damien, I'll pick you one up here. So the free shipping option, that is free shipping for the customer. You would still be charged the shipping because we'd still have to ship the book, but it means they would have, or it would select the cheapest option that's available to their address or their area, region, etc. Chaz, I'll pick you one up here. So with black pages and white text, we'd recommend a coated paper, but we would also advise against it to some extent at the same time. That's simply because it can, or with the amount of ink coverage and with the way it prints, all it takes is a single speck of dust and you'll see a very faint line on the actual print outcome. So it is something you can do. It's something we can do. I don't think I have an example with me at the moment, annoyingly. But yeah, we wouldn't always recommend it as such. You're more than welcome, guys. As I say, if there's any specific questions you think of in the meantime, and if you want to address them to myself, by all means, it's open a support ticket. You can put my name in the attention, or sorry, for the attention in the subject line. That's not a problem. So just getting some more questions up while we're waiting. Bear with me. Um, right, Mark, I'll grab you one there. So I can see your point there, Michael. The issue that we have is the way the system and the automation works is when you upload that file, it will automatically allocate it to the ISBN, and then you'll see it will put a C, a T, or a J, depending on if it's cover text or jacket. That is an automatic part of the system, and it would cause further issues within production if we were to keep the file names the same. I can by means query it with the IT guys and see if there's a way for us to keep the initial file name or the way it presents to you on Bookvault as the same, and then internally it changes it. But I couldn't say 100% if that's something we could do, but that's something I will query for you and follow up. Mark, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure if it works with Shopify. That's something I will need to query and I'll get followed up. But as mentioned, it's something we are working on within the e-commerce integrations to have featured. Claire, unfortunately, no plans to set up with Bookvault at the moment, but that's not to say we're always open to obviously more opportunities and more integrations. So it's something that I can add to our kind of roadmap or development options and see if it's something that we can have in the future. My name's Aaron. Sorry, yeah, just for anyone that doesn't know, it's Aaron, Arron, if you need the spelling as well. No worries. So, any further questions before we wrap this up? I think we maybe have 5 minutes or so. And yeah, as I say, if there are any follow-up questions, or by means, send us an email. And if there's anyone that's just tuning in and has missed it, this is obviously all replayable via YouTube. So just to touch on your one there, Kitty, Curious isn't one that I've heard that we're working with. I could by means be mistaken if it's something that's in the works. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's not an API that we work with, unfortunately, or an integration that we have. Rebecca, I'll pick you one up here. So it possibly something we would like to do. At the moment, we're kind of aiming on perfecting this grade edges that we're doing already, and then that's by means something we can potentially have in the future. But I couldn't say 100% if I'm entirely honest. Ches, I'll pick you one up here. So that is something we are working on as a feature or an update within the system for you to have live dispatch estimates. Because we appreciate that's something that's not always very clear after you've placed the order, especially if there's like machinery issues or delays or anything like that. So that is something that's in the works for the portal itself, that we hope to have live or in the near future, shall we say. Michael, so honestly, if you send us an email with the ISBN, we can unlock all the file information and all the specification, etc., for the title, and then you can obviously make the changes that you'd need. And then it would just depend if the order's already been sent to print. We may have to cancel production and reproduce it depending on what you've changed. Damien, yes, as long as you've not set up as long as there's the distribution information hasn't been set up on the Bookvault side, we can still change the ISBN. It's not something you'll be able to do on the system. But again, if you open a support ticket, by me send it directly to myself. I can get a colleague to make that change on the system for you. That's not a problem. Mark, yes, certainly, I will get that picked up for you. That's not a problem. Kitty, yes, that's correct. ARRON. If you want to follow up, it's not a problem. Yes, Shez, that's noted. Don't worry, I will put that forward as well, even if it's not a live update, just so you can see obviously what it was when you placed the order. That would be handy to follow. That's not a problem at all. Now, unfortunately, I think that's all I've got time for this morning, this evening, this afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. But thank you everyone for coming by. Again, as mentioned, we will be doing further streams at different time zones to cater for more people, and hopefully we'll getting them onto TikTok and Instagram soon. But thank you everyone for coming by. Thank you very much for your questions. I will get back to anyone that's emailed me or for the attention by the end of today. And yeah, have a good rest of your day, guys. Thank you very much for your time and take care.